Team Fortress 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. And to see the crisis with the bots that is utterly ruining it and is what caused me to stop playing it many years ago, and seeing it still go undone is basically like watching a painting that you love or an artist that you love actively go down a shithole and become worse and worse and worse. Like the player base can be all mixed and divided all they want, right? Like, yeah, it's fucked up that a huge majority of them are like neckbeard racist, but for every one of those, I also see are like queer, bisexual, trans people and so on that are also like furries playing at the same time and fighting each other. But they still love the same game, right? Yeah, but but we don't talk about the fact of what Team Fortress 2 is actively talking about, like diversity and so on. But anyway, the game needs to be updated and it needs to be fixed and still be playable. If Valve doesn't want to fix it, give the players and the fans the ability to do so. Update an SDK so that content can be created and new stuff, new missions, new cosmetics and so on can be made by the fans, and have like an automatic process like they already do for CSGO and for the winter crates, and have that be pushed, have that be voted on by the fans, and have them just kind of flip a switch and just integrate it all in. There are scripts out there that fix problems doing Valve's work for them, but cannot be officially integrated because, well, we don't have the full SDK. We don't have a full source code to the game yet. And also, it was only recently that TF2 was upped to 64-bit. So even if we had any ideas of what to do beforehand, we now kind of have to redo that now with the new bit. And people are fed up with it, right? And rightfully so. Everyone is fed up with it. Both sides of that fan base are fed up with it. And I'm included. Bots stopped me from playing TF2 because no matter what I joined, even whether it was Uncle Topia or fucking Lazy Purple's servers, or back in the day there was a TF2 server that put out content updates and so on, like, and integrated them into the server, but I think they got shut down or whatever. I couldn't play because there was just so many bots, and it was either that or pub stompers, and it just didn't really feel very TF2 anymore, right? It felt like it was losing that most fun you can have online title, right? I used to recommend TF2 to everybody that were getting into gaming on PC. I'd be like, yeah, download TF2. It's free. It's really fun. It's really silly. It's kind of funny. It's not super competitive and so on. And that's the thing with TF2 is that it's not super competitive. Yes, there's a competitive scene, and yes, you can play it seriously, but it is to a point to where you can join a fucking 2-fort lobby and have everyone doing the Kioski kick or sitting around basically role-playing and have a hoovy in the corner and everything like that while other people are killing each other. No other game does that happen. No other game. CSGO doesn't happen. No casual COD doesn't happen. No matter Fortnite, it doesn't even happen. Even if Fortnite has emotes and taunts and everything like that, and like player interactability, no other game has done it like TF2 does, and that's the draw that it had for me. If I wanted to have fun and just kind of mess around, not really get too sweaty or anything, I would hop into a 24/7 2-fort, infinite rounds and so on, and be like a hoovy in the corner. Or I would literally just role play as an engineer on the Rancho Relaxer and be like, yep, this beer is pretty good. You want a beer? And like other people would come up to me like, yeah, I'll take a beer, thanks, man. Which is why I believe that all classes need a sitting emote and eating emote, or not emote, taunt. a movement taunt, and and some sort of musical taunt. All three of those are looping to kind of give like a casualness to the games, like you just sit around or you just kind of eat or whatever, really fun things to do. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to go on that little tangent. But yeah, currently TF2 is sitting at an overwhelmingly negative on Steam. It was mostly negative, and now, as of today, it sits at an overwhelmingly negative. And the petition to be signed is at almost 250,000 people. Almost topping out the all-time player count for TF2, which was broken a few years ago. Some people say it was bots, but it was also because it was around the time that Overwatch 2 came out, and people were like, I'm just going to go back to play TF2, and it was the pandemic and everything like that, and people were getting into PC gaming and so on. But people didn't really stick around, and people are still coming to TF2. I see fresh free-to-plays whenever I play, on the very rare occasions that I still hop on just to try and have a little bit of nostalgic fun. There are free-to-play people. There is now unironic, like, Jack Ricardo 2012 on there with the blank Steam profile, right? They haven't made the $5 purchase to have, like, do everything else, right? And it's great to see. And to anyone saying, like, why would Valve want to fix it? It doesn't make any money for them. One, okay, why does having to make money need to be anything? Old Valve was for the fans. That was their point. It was making games for fans and for themselves because they were making cool stories and cool ideas. That's why they didn't. They weren't just doing it for money. Money was the second part that funded making more of it. But here we are, another corporation just fucking off, and that's Valve. Modern Valve, especially with Gabe as a figurehead now and no one really running the company and only having a skeleton crew and everything. And yes, Deadlock is coming out and a new hero shooter. And yes, I'm excited. And yes, I will play it because I love Valve. But Valve is so disappointing. They put out some of the best experiences to ever be put to gaming. Half-Life, Left 4 Dead, Portal, Team Fortress, every game that they have ever put out is a banger after banger after banger. It is revolutionizing to the medium, right? And they take risk to do stuff because they want to tell that story. But no, here they are just sitting on money of Steam, still not doing anything. Not fixing their other games and fixing and doing other things, right? And I'll make a video on Deadlock, but to cut it short, they have infinite money. Upkeeping, in the broadest long term, may cost a few million. They remake that in months. Another decade of TF2 at most, if I want to make the most egregious liberal estimate of being maybe $10 million of a $1 billion company because of Steam. It is nothing to them. And also, to round that out back to saying that they make no revenue, they do make revenue. You can see how much revenue they make because it is in the second highest revenue making bracket on Steam, on the silver revenue bracket. And things like, it's in the same league as things like Dead by Daylight or other, microtransaction in-game Bible games. I think there was even other ones in there as well that had it, and I'm not really, I think Remnant 2 was it, or whatever. But yeah, they're still making money off of this, and they're still sitting silent and not doing anything. And then recently, they were taking on the Contractors VR thing, doing a completely not Valve move to do, which is support the fans for making fan projects, because that's how they made their franchises in the first place. Half of the shit that they ever have were mods, and they're like, you? We like what you're doing. Come work for us and make millions. And they're like, awesome. right? You know, like one of the only few success stories of starting from the bottom and making your way up the ladder, right? And doing that. That's what Valve used to do, but now they don't. And it's a shame because originally TF2 sat at overwhelmingly positive. It was overwhelmingly positive recent reviews, overwhelmingly positive all-time reviews. It was one of the highest rated games on Steam. It was in the constant top 20. And Team Fortress 2 just got done downloading for this video's background footage. But they still do nothing. Release the SDK, fix the bot problem, or let us do it ourselves, and let us make the content for this game and let it still be playable. Let it continue to be played. Because so many more memories need to be made. So many more memories can be made. This is not a game at the end of its life cycle. It is in its twilight years, but a good thing in its twilight years is moved on to other hands. It is passed on. The torch is put to another bearer. And that is what needs to happen with Team Fortress 2. And yes, I am very passionate about this. Again, thousands of hours in TF2. And if I had consistently played as much as I did when I was a kid, I guarantee I would have over 10,000 hours in what I have now. But I stopped back in around 2016, 2018, and then got back into it in like 2020. I can't remember. I have a bad memory. But it stopped again because bots. And I wasn't keeping up with metas. But again, like, it is issues that isn't just the game isn't fun. The game is fun. It has always been fun. It is one of the most kind, when you don't have the racists and the bigots in there screaming things and trying to be funny. It is, unironically, some of the friendliest interactions I have ever had online. Whether you're a kid, when you're not supposed to be playing this game, or you're just a dude coming off work, or you're just, wanting to chill or so on, you hop in VC and you talk, you can have conversations. That's why you see sometimes maps will just come to a draw, and the game in the background is just background footage and background stuff for talking to each other. Because again, Team Fortress 2 is the most fun you can have online. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be competitive. It doesn't even have to be a shooter. It can just be, weirdly enough, a hangout game. I did that a ton when I was a kid. I would hop into 24/7 idle servers and I would just talk to people. I would sit in the idle line and I would just talk to people. Or I would sit around emoting and so on and maybe have a few kills here or there. Or go up, it was the Awesome Box 8, right? I'm sure that brings back memories. I would go up to the top level and I would just sit there and I would talk with other people. And that's how it went. But yeah, save TF2. I'll put the petition down below. We need more signatures. We as in a monolith, but I'm saying I want there to be more signatures. I want Valve to see this. I want them to have a wake-up call and be like, hey, you fucking greedy motherfuckers, quit falling into the stereotype that's correct about corporations and be different like you used to be. Come on. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Other than that, I have a Patreon, and if you want to support me down there, there are some exclusive stuff. You'll get a shout out in a monthly video roundup. If you want a one-time donation, I have a Cash App down below. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.